My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it's the fight of the night. Let's make history with the last fight this century. Please welcome to the ring now, from Melbourne, Australia, the challenger, Mad Dog Tony Miller.
Tony Mad Dog, as he calls himself, Miller, 35 years of age, but unbeaten in his last 8 fights, only ever stopped once in a 16-year professional career, a veteran of 55 contests, a man with a reputation of being a rugged, walk-forward brawler who's very rarely in a bad fight.
Well, this should really tell us how far Michael Ayers is going to go, and what we can expect if he gets in with the likes of Billy Schwer, because this guy is something of a handful, comes with a good reputation, mixed with some very good fighters, and as you said, Ian, unbeaten in the last 8.
I tell you, the result that stands out on his record, he went the full 12 rounds with the excellent, world-class Jeff Fenech in Melbourne in 1987. A month later, Fenech became the WBC Super Bantamweight champion, and apparently him and Miller were knocking lumps out of each other. It was some fight, apparently. So, I mean, it was a long time ago, but the fellow can obviously fight a bit.
Well, in that sort of class, that was a great performance to do that with Jeff Fenech.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ring now the champion from Tooting in London, Michael Shaka Ayers.
Well, it's been a great effort by Michael Ayers to rebuild his career from the debris of defeats against Anthony Maynard and the journeyman Roger Sampson in 1998. He's come storming back in 1999. This is his 5th fight of the year. The previous 4, he's won inside 6 rounds. He still believes he's the best lightweight in Britain, though Billy Schwer would certainly argue with that, 1 or 2 others as well, maybe. But at his peak, he reeled off 5 British title wins, all by stoppage, against the likes of Paul Burke and Carl Taylor and Charles Shepherd, Dave Anderson and Colin Dunn, who currently holds the WBU title. Well, this fella Ayers beat him in 9 rounds in a great fight. So can he get back to that kind of level? He's showing signs that he just might be able to.
Yes, just gradually he's getting himself back there. He's shown very good character at times. His career just looked as if it was starting to slip. He's pulled it back up, with good character, and he's getting back there.
Tail of the tape for a fight tonight. These are 2 fighters who've been among the busiest in the world in recent times. They've boxed a lot of rounds. Ayers 34, Miller 35. Ayers is taller with a reach advantage. Ayers might be tight at this lightweight limit these days. Bang on it, Miller well inside. Miller made his debut way back in 1984. Ayers has been a pro for a decade as well. And look at that, Miller's boxed 446 rounds in his career. Ayers is a big puncher. 80% knockout ratio. It's eye-catching. If he hits you, he hurts you usually.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, let's make history with the last fight this century. Ringside Promotions proudly present 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO's Lightweight Championship of the World. Sponsored here by Boxing Clever, the Knockout Video. All the officials have been appointed by the IBO President Ed Levine from Florida, USA. He has appointed Fight Supervisor Jerry Woolard of Glasgow, Timekeeper Bob Edgeworth of Bromley, and Matchmaker Mr. Graham Lockwood of Skipton. The British steward in charge is John Handler. Our 3 scoring judges here at ringside. Judge Roy Francis of Kent, Judge Don O'Neill of Florida, and Judge Rita Tamaria of Florida. Our referee in charge of the action, and one of the leading referees in the world today, from Wolverhampton, star referee John Coyle. Well, sports fans and Sky fans joining us live here on Sky Sports, you've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. Here are the challengers. Firstly, and introducing to you, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the black trunks trimmed with yellow. He weighed in at 9 stone, 8 1/4 pounds. He brings an amazing 55 fight record, 41 wins, 24 inside the scheduled distance, 10 defeats and 4 draws. He comes to the ring as the current Australian lightweight champion. Please welcome the Fist of Thunder from down under, Melbourne, Australia, Mad Dog Tony Miller. And across the ring, the champion. He's wearing the black trunks and weighed in at championship weight, 9 stone and 9 pounds. He brings a 31 fight record, 27 wins, 25 by way of knockout, 3 defeats and 1 draw. He comes to the ring making his 3rd defense as the current IBO lightweight champion of the world from Tooting, London, Michael Shaka Ayers. So, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then. The last one of the century. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO's lightweight championship of the world.
John Coyle is the referee from Wolverhampton. Big support here for Ayers.
I'll have a word with you both in the dressing room. Abide by the rules and obey my instructions at all times. Good luck to you both.
Ayers making his 3rd defence of this IBO championship. Tony Miller, what is he going to bring to the party here? He's a rough, rugged Aussie who really likes to have a bit of a tear-up. But he'll have to be careful about the power of Ayers. Ayers can sometimes start a bit slowly. He did last time against Pablo Sarmiento, the Argentinian, but took control of it quickly after that and won in 6. Ayers rejuvenated by changing his training base away from London to Belfast, where he's handled now by Jerry Story. That seems to have freshened him up mentally. Black trunks, solid black trunks, I should say, of Ayers, the yellow stripes down the side for the Australian. How good, we wonder, is Miller at the age of 35?
I think Miller's best tactic is to make Ayers box at a pace which is going to stretch and be very busy. That's what he's supposed to be able to do. We will find out. And also, questions might be asked about Ayers. He said that he struggled against the weight a little bit. What would a really tough fight take out of him?
He does look a bit sunken-cheeked, Ayers. A few people have remarked on it. A couple of good shots in close from him there. This fellow Miller's only ever been stopped once, and that was 14 years ago, so you can forget about that, really. Comes in pretty square, Miller. Looks easy to hit, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's already been caught by a couple of decent punches from Ayers, and that should suit Ayers if he is easy to hit, because Ayers does carry a fair bit of power.
As you feel regaining his confidence with every passing fight this year. 1999 has been a good rebuilding year for him. People beginning to take him seriously again. A lot of people who thought he was about washed up.
Well, he's finding his rhythm quite early. This is a good end of the round from Ayers. Nice and sharp and finding the target quite a bit.
Snappier work from Ayers, the former British champion at lightweight, in this opening round. Miller walking onto some of these punches. He looks the kind who's prepared to take a few to get in close and brawl. Ayers looks pretty sharp and snappy here. It's a good right hand, stiff right hand. And Ayers wins the opening round, I think. Computer has worked its wizardry and churns out this statistic for you after the first round, underlining Ayers' dominance of that opening session.
Yes, and he started to shake Miller about a bit towards the end. Miller just going flat-footed in the legs, giving the odd wobble when Ayers connected.
Well, CMC was at pains to point out the last major fight in Britain this century. The business packs up for Christmas after this. We get a bit of time off as well. Ayers is caught by a right hand by Miller. Miller, who's been an Australian champion at 3 weights, super feather, then back down to feather, and then lightweight. He's held that for 3 years through 6 defences. Tends to cut a bit, Miller too. That could be a problem for him. He was cut in his last fight, which ended in a technical draw, Australian Championship fight a few months ago.
Well, he's come out trying to pick up the pace a bit, Miller. He's landed with a couple of decent punches. He's still got to keep tight defensively.
Miller with the yellow stripes down the trunks, if you still need the identification. Some success with the right hand in this second round for the Aussie. Ayers just takes a few more than he used to when he was British champion. Maybe the reflexes have just slowed a little from those days. Bound to be some wear and tear at 34. That's another good right hand from the brawling mad dog Miller, as he's known.
Well, he's just picked the work rate up, Miller, and he's having success because of that.
It's a good right, though, from Ayers, and Miller rather marched onto it. Well, Ayers was saying beforehand that he thought this would be a dust-up tonight. He might be right. Oh, that's another right hand, and he comes in on tram lines, doesn't he, this Tony Miller? There's no attempt at head movement or lateral movement or rolling in underneath the punches. He just stands there and trades with you.
Well, he didn't start the round that well, Ayers, but he's picked up, and it's a very good finish to this round from him. Much sharper punching.
Looks like he's done his homework on this chap. Started quite fast, Ayers. He's matched Miller for work rate. Getting the right hand, though, from the Australian. You don't usually have boxing this close to Christmas, but it looks like this might be a decent fight, doesn't it, Glenn?
Yes, this is warming up well, very entertaining. You know, we thought that Miller might be. He's just prepared to stand in front of Ayers and making Ayers, you know, show some good form. Ayers is going to have to be sharp to come through this.
Third round. Yellow stripes down the trunks of the Australian champion, Tony Miller. This is Miller's 6th fight of the year, Ayers his 5th. Quick on his feet, going backwards, Ayers, and looking pretty sharp. He's got a lot of rounds this year, and it, I think, has really added a bit of snap to him again.
Yes, well, I think he needed that to get his sharpness back, and I think, you know, this is a good fight also to have to, you know, to really push him and, you know, get him in the best possible form.
That's a decent right hand again from Miller. That seems to be his best punch, and Ayers just taking that one, letting his left glove drop low occasionally. There's a real relentlessness about this Miller. He's no sweet scientist or stylist, nothing like it, and wouldn't pretend to be either. But what he will do is keep on marching forward, forward, forward all night, looking to wear his man down. And if Ayers is a little bit tight at the weight, I suppose there could be twists in the plot as it wears on.
Yes, could be difficult for him if, you know, if he struggled a bit and it's a really tough fight. You know, the later rounds could be hard.
Because it's fast-paced and quite intense at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it's a good pace that Miller is trying to set. He's really trying to make Ayers work.
Thus far, Ayers matching that work rate. Good value for the tightly knit and packed crowd at this intimate York Hall Arena, just up the road from Bethnal Green Underground Station. It's getting dangerously close together there. Watch the use of the shoulder, says referee John Coyle.
Good right hand from Ayers in close, but Miller set a good pace this round. Ayers is going to try and finish it with a flurry.
Not a lot in this round, Glenn.
Very close.
More live football matches for you. Boxing Day, Sky Sports 3, 11:30 a.m. West Bromwich Albion against Manchester City, and here on Sky Sports 1 from 5:15 in the evening, live coverage from the Premiership game, Coventry City against Arsenal. Both games live and interactive only on our new digital channel, Sky Sports Extra.
And this the last Boxing Day before Christmas Day, if you get my meaning. Michael Ayers, solid black trunks, gold stripes down the trunks of the Australian Tony Miller. You can see why he got that nickname Mad Dog. A few fighters have had it before, but it suits him, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's really his swarming, aggressive style that's got him that nickname. It does suit him. And he did better in that round. I thought he may well have just outworked Ayers.
This is the fourth. It's due to go 12, a distance that Miller has completed 10 times before. He's done numerous 10-rounders as well. Ayers has only ever done a full 12 rounds once, and that was on the night that he challenged the excellent Giovanni Palisi for the WBO title a few years back. Lost it on points.
Well, he's drawing Ayers into his type of fight. He's keeping it close. And that's going to suit Miller in there where he can work and where it's difficult for Ayers to get his sharp punches off.
And Australians, of course, are pretty used to winning sporting arguments in England this year. Cricket World Cup, Rugby World Cup. Makes you sick, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Well, Ayers getting some confidence, pushing him back now. He's starting to get a bit of room to land his punches.
The swarming aggression, really, from Miller, and high work rate. Superior technical skills, no doubt about that from Ayers. Superior power too, judging by their records. I'll tell you what, there could easily be a cut through a clash of heads, the way this is developing.
Well, he really is pushing Ayers hard, but Ayers coming there with some nice clean punches with his back against the ropes.
Cleaner shots from Ayers, picking them quite well. Miller gets there with a couple of left hooks. And it's real toe-to-toe brawling, this. It's not half a bad fight.
And this is a good fight, just the cleaner punches from Ayers.
Watch those heads, says the referee.
Well, Turnbull's just starting to fray, getting very intense in there.
Just a bit more precision and snap about Ayers' work. They're both really working very, very hard indeed. Let's go upstairs and hear what Jim Watt is making of things.
Well, impressive boxing from Michael Ayers. I'm impressed with everything he's doing, but unfortunately for me, he's decided to do it the hard way right from the off. I think against this little fellow who we knew was going to be tough before the first bell, I think he should have got a couple of rounds in the banks, thought the best way to go about the job and then start doing the job. But Michael's fired straight in head first, doing it the hard way, and now I think he's stuck with those tactics. He can't back off. Now this is going to be tough all the way through. No signs yet he has the power to stop this fellow. So what we've seen already has been first class, excitement-wise. I think it's going to continue as long as this lasts.
Thanks a lot, Jim. You can see he's just a bit marked up around the face, Miller, but that's happened to him a few times before. He isn't going to worry about that.
Well, it really is intense in there. Temper's fraying a bit, the head's very close.
Really is a hothouse in more ways than one, with the crowd, none of them more than about 20 yards from the ring. It's like that in here. This is the fifth. Solid black trunks, Britain's Michael Ayers. He's a real marauder, this Miller.
Well, that's how I've got it. 3-2 Ayers and 1 I've given to Miller. But it is it's a good fight.
Still marking up around the face. Bit more boxing from Ayers in this round. Jabbing from the outside, making life a little easier for himself, not getting dragged into a toe-to-toe brawl. Maybe he's had to think about that in the corner. Maybe they're just working on something a bit different. That's good accuracy, three-punch combination.
Well, that's what he needs. He needs to have the room to work, to get his punches off. You know, the close quarter stuff will suit Miller. Ayers needs a bit more range.
Well, we never thought for one moment that Miller had just come over here for the payday. He really wants to go home with this belt. It may be one of the more lightly regarded ones, but it means a lot to him, and he says he'll celebrate for 3 weeks if he gets it.
Well, I'm sure he will. Well, he's taking some good right hands now from Ayers. He's starting to slow up a little bit, Miller.
Ayers finding some good angles for his punches, being watched by world title contender Billy Schwer at ringside. Big talk about a possible meeting between Ayers and Schwer in the new year. That might be a cracker, but Ayers has got to get through this one first.
And now he's starting to get his rhythm going, just slipping up a gear. Ayers
boxing nicely in this round, Ayers. Good body shots, right uppercut too. And the pressure's on Miller, being forced back a little here. He doesn't take too many backward steps. I don't think he knows about reverse gear.
Well, they're both working so very hard here.
This is good stuff here from Ayers. This is his most impressive work to date. Again, the heads dangerously close together. And he looks like he's got a real tough old nut too, doesn't he? This Australian is beginning to cut up. Big round that for Michael Ayers. Big round for him. Did it well. Now look at that face.
Yeah, he's very red, isn't he, around the brows, and they're having to work with the end swell. A little bit of swelling under the eyes. Just took a lot of punches in that round. That was very exciting work from Ayers. Just got better range, just made that little bit of gap between the two of them, and then started to get these shots going.
Well, Ayers does have a big struggle to get down to lightweight, but if he is weak at the weight, you could have fooled me so far.
Well, so far he's doing everything right, working at a very high pace, and a great finish to the round there.
Still work to do here, but give great credit to Michael Ayers, who's shown great character to come back after a very, very dodgy period in his career. And can he build on that 5th round and continue to dominate? Because he started to look in that round as if he really had things under control here. Ooh, big right there. 2 big rights from the Australian. He's not noted as a big puncher, which is a shame for him with his style, because with a bit of power mixed into it, it would make him doubly dangerous.
Well, he said that terror with Jeff Fennick was something else. I'm sure our judge on this one, it really was.
Miller did have a few years out of the ring between 91 and 95. He's only lost once since coming back, and that was in the Philippines, a decision described by his camp as a farcical robbery. Well, they might say that, mightn't they? But it was a bit controversial.
Well, whoever he fights Miller, they're going to have to be very fit, because, you know, he doesn't believe in resting too much.
Ayers is showing a good repertoire here, and he's managing now to keep the fight at range a bit more, and he looks the boss out there, doesn't he?
Well, that's what he has to do. He has to give himself that little bit of room, and that's where he works better. But it's difficult against, you know, such a pressure fighter as Miller.
Good right hand from Ayers. Tell you what, and what we're seeing here, Ayers against Schwer, it'd be a heck of a fight, wouldn't it?
Yes, that really would be a good fight. And let's hope they can get that together.
This isn't half a bad one either. 6th round. Still wants to plough on forward. At times, walking through a fusillade of punches. Miller. His face bearing the scars of the battle as well. Coming up to the halfway point in the contest.
Well, he's working hard, Miller, but still a classier boxing from Ayers.
And Ayers, I've got in a good lead. Well, we were talking about the possible Ayers-Schwer fight in the new year. Billy Schwer's here. He's talking to Adam Smith.
Well, Billy, quite a brawl in there. Do you think that Michael Ayers is in danger of being brought into Miller's type of fight in the later rounds?
No, I think Michael's just starting to pull away now. Mad Dog Miller certainly come to fight. He's putting up a good fight, but a few even rounds earlier, but I think Michael's starting just to get on top now.
Too much class and getting into his rhythm.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But as I said, he's come to fight. It's a hard fight. He's making hard work of it at the moment, but he's going to come good, I think.
He is quite tight at the weight, Ayers. Do you think that may play a part?
Who knows, in long fights it can be a problem, but I don't know what sort of problems he has, but fingers crossed he'll come through okay.
Thanks a lot, Billy.
And that's what the computer's saying so far. Ayers landing significantly more punches and with a much better punch accuracy rate as well. Better punch picking from him. Into the second half of it, 7th round. Solid black trunks, Michael Ayers. Yellow stripes of the Australian, Tony Mad Dog Miller. the forklift truck driver from Melbourne. He's got an 8-year-old daughter at home. He was actually born in England at Derby. His parents moved to Australia when he was a boy. Good start to the round by Miller.
He's starting something different, just trying to use his jab a bit more, and he's caught Ayers with that punch.
I think he realizes he needs to do something a little bit different. And this is interesting, little twist again here. Miller trying to box Ayers. Not his usual style, that.
It's not. You'd think that would suit Ayers, but at least, you know, Miller's got enough about himself to try something different.
He is outreached a little, Miller. Combination punching from Ayers, but nothing seems to make a dent in this man. You can see why he's been the distance so many times. I'll tell you what, if you go the distance with Jeff Fenwick, you're durable, all right.
Yeah, you can fight a bit if you can do that. He's starting to get caught now, though.
We're back to where we were. They've forgotten the jabbing again, and they're back to the close quarter brawling. Almost matching each other punch for punch in this round. Good stuff from Ayers, mixing it up to head and body.
Yes, if he can keep it clean, Ayers, get the room, he can get his punches off so well.
That's a cracking right cross from Michael Ayers.
Well, you've got to think these guys are starting to hit a wall of tiredness about now. They've had to work so hard, and it's really who's going to come through that the better.
You'd think it'd take its toll, but they look so intense and fired up, the pair of them. Miller had a very good first minute of the round. Ayers came back at him. Welcome back. Have you got this, Glenn?
I've got this 5 points ahead. Ayers pulling away, looking good. And I just thought that Miller was starting to tire towards the end of that round. Ayers catching him with some very clean shots and, you know, not firing back as quickly as.
So can Ayers maybe even force a stoppage here? That would be a very, very good win, and I think would underline the strength of his comeback. There is Glenn's scorecard. I've got it by a similar margin as well.
Yep, 69-64. I've got it. Ayers pulling away.
Marked up around the face, swollen on the cheekbone, eyes just closing a little for Tony Miller. Trained by a guy called Keith Ellis, and then there's another bloke in the corner who's known simply as Steve the Squirrel. Not even Miller knows his surname. It's some camp, that, isn't it? Steve the Squirrel.
Australians, aren't they?
Ayers back to his boxing from the outside. Quite impressive, Ayers, tonight, isn't he?
Yes, I think Miller's brought the best out in him. And this is a good performance from Ayers.
By his own admission, he'd become a bit lazy and unmotivated. Based in South London, he needed a change, and that's why he took himself off to Belfast, and life in a bedsit and hard Spartan training. And I think you're seeing the benefits of it here, and the fresh input too from Jerry's story. No reflection on the people who were with Ayers before. He just needed a change, some fresh input.
Well, this is good from him now, using his boxing ability, picking up Miller with the jab.
That's great right hand, and Miller walked straight onto it and absorbed the punch as if he was made out of a little part of Ayers' rock or something. No pun intended.
Was there not? That's unusual from you.
That's good stuff from Ayers, mixing up the shots. Excellent combination punching. For me, this is the best performance from Michael Ayers in a long time. And against a fellow who's really come here wanting it quite badly too, and intent on giving him an intense battle, but Ayers is dominating it. Well, superior boxing combination punches, snappy, speedy again even.
He's looking heavy-legged, flat-footed. He's starting to feel this now, Miller. These punches are starting to hurt.
Now there's good stuff this from Michael Ayers. The well-travelled Denny Mancini, the cut man, helping out in the corner for Tony Miller. Wouldn't mind his air miles.
Let's look at that right hand from Ayers. Big punch over the top. That took a lot out of him. You just saw the knees sag, and he was really looking tired in this round. Miller had to dig very deep just to keep going. He really is a tough guy, but even him, you'd only think he could take so much.
It's a breakdown in round 8 with Ayers landing, well, over twice as many punches and with 3 times the success rate as well. Fight being scored, by the way, by 3 judges, Roy Francis of Great Britain and 2 gentlemen from Florida in the United States.
Well, I wonder what is in Ayers' mind. He keeps hitting this guy with his best punches. He keeps coming back at him. That's hard, you know, when you're in against somebody like that. Just take it out of you.
He does have an almost indestructible kind of quality about him, Miller, but there must be a limit to even his endurance. He's not the kind of guy who's going to throw in the towel mentally or physically. Walking onto shots too often, Miller. Fights on railway lines, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's getting easy to hit. That one really stood him up straight, that left hook from Ayers.
And he's a really durable character to this, Miller, because Ayers is a big puncher. Usually takes his man out. He did in every British title fight he had. Kind who does stop normally durable opponents. He might even do it to Miller here.
Well, one thing's for sure, Miller didn't just come over here for a bit of Christmas shopping, did he?
I don't think he even came for that. He's hardly been out the hotel. I think apart from his training runs. There's some blood around here now. Around the eye of Ayers. It may be just to the side of the left eye. We'll have a closer look at that.
Well, I think that's got to be from heads banging together. They have done it several times throughout this fight.
We think it was a clash of heads that caused it. Quite a lot of blood beginning to flow. It looks to the side of the eye of Ayers, but it might just lift Miller a little. Ayers here unloading with combination. He needs to throw some back here, Miller, to convince referee John Coyle he's still competitive.
Well, that cut didn't lift Miller, it lifted Ayers.
He's kept on throwing punches in bunches here, Ayers. Doesn't seem to have worried about the cut eye. Well, Ayers sending out the message, really, if you've come here and you want to fight, I'll give you a fight, all right. And it's a fight that Ayers is dominating. I've got him a long way in front. How about you, Glenn?
Yes, I've got him a long way, seven points ahead on my card. Ayers boxing very well, and it just looks as if Miller's just starting to flounder, starting to find this hard going. There's the clash of heads,
which has been ruled an accidental clash of heads by the referee John Coyle officially.
Yes,
and you can see
it was. They were both rolling in, and that's good to pick up on that. See the blood instantly really come together very heavily.
Well, you could feel that from here, couldn't you?
You could. That was some crack of heads. And this tough-headed guy is the one to come off second best.
Well, there's been a danger of that happening all the way through the contest, really. Luckily for Ayers, it's happened quite late in the fight. It doesn't look too serious. This is the 10th, due to go 12. Ayers continuing to defend this IBO championship that he has, but I think he would see his way really ahead in trying to pick up one of the more authentic versions of a world championship and a British championship along the way, his old British title, maybe even the European too. Who knows how things might open up for him, the way he's going just at the moment. Lovely right uppercut.
Well, he's really just starting to, find his form and pick his punches and looking, as good as he ever has.
He does. He looks a reborn fighter, doesn't he, here?
Well, all those changes, these fights that he's put together, are really making their mark. Good right hand again from Ayers, and Miller sags back.
Is there any way back into this, you wonder, for Miller now, who's looking pretty beat up? He's fought his usual brave walk-forward fight, Miller. But he's found, really, that tonight, Ayers has matched him all the way and really outclassed him in the boxing department. Been a lot of really eye-catching combinations from Ayers. Oh, cracking right hand. This is already the second longest fight of Ayers' career. And he's catching Miller at will almost now. Can this Australian get through the full 12 rounds? Or is he going to be stopped? He might be here. He collapsed back against the ropes. I'm surprised John Coyle didn't go in there. The corner are trying to get the towel in, and now... No, I thought Coyle was going to stop it again there, but no. He lets Miller go on. But I don't think this Australian has anything left, and now it is stopped. It is stopped in the 10th round. That is a great win for Michael Ayers, as Tony Miller is stopped for the first time in 14 years, and only the second time ever. Ayers right back to his best. That was some performance.
That was an exceptional performance in what was a terrific fight to close out the century. They really did give their all, and I think he really boxed himself back to the best form of his career, Michael Ayers there.
Now then, this is what led to the stoppage. I'm a bit surprised that John Coyle didn't step in a bit beforehand. I think he was thinking of it. He was trying to give Miller every chance, wasn't he?
Yes, he did. He gave him every chance. There was room to stop it, I thought, a little bit before this. But he gave him a chance, knew how tough he was and knew how much fight there was. A proud man. Miller would not have wanted to be stopped. But just this aggression, this punch-picking, was just far too much for him.
At that point, the Miller corner were trying to throw the white towel in. It looked like that anyway.
Well, that's where we thought he was going to stop. Just carried it on because he fell through the ropes, give him every benefit. But then that was it, and John Coyle thought that was the right time to jump in.
So here's one Australian who isn't going back home with the silverware this year.
He certainly isn't. And that was excellent Excellent work from Ayers. Really did look championship quality here.
It's called off in the 10th round, and it was really rolling back the years stuff, really, from Michael Shaka Ayers. And I say, Ayers against Schwer, as Mills Lane would say, let's get it on.
Certainly, let's get it on. A great fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes and 7 seconds of the 10th round. Referee John Coyle has stopped the contest. Miller in no condition to continue. Your winner, and still the IBO lightweight champion of the world, from Tooting, London, Michael Shaka Ayers. And ladies and gentlemen, what a warrior from down under, the legendary Mad Dog Tony Miller.
Great reception for both boxers. It was terrific action through the 10 rounds as they posed together, mutual respect between them. But what a deep, deep satisfaction Michael Ayers must be feeling in the face of all those who said a year ago, and with some justification at the time, it must be said, that he was looking a shot fighter. Lots of support for him tonight. Family, friends, they're all here. And Michael Ayers will be jubilant as he talks now to Adam Smith, I'm sure.
5 fights this year, 5 knockout wins. It's been sweet. A reborn Michael Ayers?
Yeah, a new infused Michael Ayers. Yeah, we had our ups and downs along the way, but as I said, I've always been a good fighter in the boxing trade. I believe I'm respected in the trade, but now it's time to, like, you know, be known outside the trade and earn some money, basically. And my enthusiasm is at an all-time high.
You told me it would be a tear-up beforehand with Miller. He only knew one way to fight, didn't he?
He was a strong guy. I don't think he wasn't in my league technically, but I mean, I think my hands are going to be the sorest part of me tonight. He took some shots, and I do dig, and he took some shots. I mean, I think I was cut being complacent. I was looking at the referee, I was like, you know, just a part of me, I lost my focus there for a minute because I actually started feeling a bit worried for the guy.
You enjoy it in there?
Oh, I was, yeah, like the second, third round, that's always my rounds. I started getting into it, 4th, 5th, and I was enjoying it. And then I think it was about the 9th or something round, and I'm thinking, this guy, and every time I'm hitting him, I can say I'm hurting him. And I'm thinking, well, why don't you just give a sign so the ref can, I mean, I don't know what scorecards were, but I'm sure I was way in front. But I started worrying for myself.
Let's bring Barry Herning quickly here. Barry, the fight we all want to see is Billy Schwer, Michael Ayers. Will it happen?
Well, I think there's 3 other great lightweights out there. Billy Schwer, obviously. Bobby Vanzi was at ringside, the British and the Commonwealth lightweight title. Colin Dunn, the WBU champion. This guy wants to keep busy. He's been a long time earning it, and I think we're going to see some great fights in the lightweight. But in the lightweight division, I think this could be the recurrence of the super middleweights with Ben and Watson and Eubank. We've got the same thing with Ayers and Schwer and Dunn and Vanzi. Some great fights, great divisions, plenty of money for the boys, and great TV for Sky, as always.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a lovely Christmas.
All the people in Belfast, people in Stella Morris, people in Canada, and all people who look after me in Belfast, all my fans and family, as always. Barry, God bless everyone. Peace on earth for this year, please, God. Eh? Happy millennium to you all. Lovely. We're back.